The burial chamber of Tutankhamun is so different from any other in the Valley of the Kings. Usually when an Egyptian royalty dies, they get buried in a tomb decorated with scenes of the Book of the Dead. The workers always make sure every scene is carved with high precision and great detail, but most times these tombs get prepared and decorated as the pharaoh is still alive. Why was part of Tut's tomb left with empty walls? His death must have come as a surprise. The work in Tut's tomb has been rushed. This can be seen by the paint drips on the walls and the religious scenes which clearly lack detail.
The wall, you can see that there's drips running down. Throughout this tomb we have drip marks.
Right after the tomb was discovered, strange things started to happen. It all started with Lord Carnarvon. He was the first to enter the tomb. A few months later, Carnarvon was shaving one day and tore open a mosquito bite. This led to blood infection, causing him to die. Carnarvon already had pre-existing conditions, but he passed away so shortly after being in the tomb. Also, his dog Susie died swiftly after. A strange coincidence was reported when the mummy of Tutankhamun was unwrapped. The mummy was found to have a wound on the left cheek. The wound was in the exact same position as the mosquito bite, which has led to the death of Lord Carnarvon. Then there was Sir Bruce Ingham, who was a friend of Howard Carter. He received as a gift a paperweight made from a mummified hand. Inscribed on the paperweight it said, "Cursed be he who moves my body. To him shall come fire, water and pestilence." You probably won't believe me, but strangely, after receiving the gift, Ingham's house burned down. After he rebuilt his house, the home got destroyed again by a flood. Let's not forget about Sir Archibald Douglas Reed. He was responsible of doing the x-rays of Tut's mummy. Later, after working with the pharaoh's corpse, he died of an illness which couldn't be diagnosed by any doctor. If it was a curse, it didn't only target the ones that have worked on the excavation, but also people that just came to visit, such as Prince Ali Fahmy Bey, who got shot by his wife within a year of entering the tomb. It was British MP Aubrey Herbert, who turned blind shortly after visiting King Tutankhamun. And eventually he died by blood poisoning, just like Carnarvon. And yet another strange coincidence, he was Carnarvon's half-brother. Could it be that there's a more scientific explanation for the sudden deaths of the people that were close to the tomb? Some theories claimed that it wasn't the pharaoh's curse, but it actually had a biological nature. Recently, lab studies have shown that some ancient mummies have been carrying dangerous types of mold. Some of the walls of the tomb can be covered with bacteria that can attack our respiratory system. Scientists have also found ammonia gas and hydrogen sulfide in sealed sarcophagi. These could cause burning in the eyes and nose, pneumonia and even death itself. And the curse continued. Have you heard what happened to Arthur Mace? He worked for the Metropolitan Museum in New York. In 1922, the museum agreed to provide Carter with a helping hand. Arthur Mace went to Egypt to work on conserving the artifacts of Tutankhamun. We fast forward to 1924. Where Mace couldn't continue his excavation work due to health issues. He went back to England and in 1928 he died unfortunately of arsenic poisoning. 1 year later, Richard Bethel, who was Carnarvon's secretary, was found smothered in his London gentleman's club. But what about Howard Carter? Many brought the curse back to existence when he died of natural causes in his London flat, 17 years after opening the tomb. So what did really happen? Maybe some kind of a biohazard isn't an explanation for all the tragedies. But it could be a reason for some of those people to pass away, like Carnarvon, his half-brother and Arthur Mace. You gotta admit that most of these strange occurrences do keep the idea of a curse alive. The ones that come in contact with the pharaoh seem to have a disturbing end. But we don't hear any more of a potential curse. It doesn't happen to other archaeologists right now. Could it be that the curse only existed during that time period? I mean, the tombs are designed with the idea that they shouldn't be found. We also don't have all the answers, but we do know that Tut had a hard life with his genetic defects. Around the age of 19, he had a chariot accident. As this happened so suddenly, his tomb wasn't built yet, so they took another tomb, which was meant for an Egyptian princess. This tomb had to be finished very fast, what explains the drip marks and unfinished scenes. The other tombs were built on top of Tut's tomb, to erase him and his family from history, as Tut's father tried to change Egyptian beliefs. Eventually, his tomb was found by luck, but still one of the biggest finds in archaeological history. If this caused the curse to be summoned, we think it must have been settled by now. So maybe Tutankhamun didn't have the best life, but we hope he's granted a better afterlife in the field of reeds.